Howdy, my name is Jessica Bryan, and today I'm going to talk about long-term potentiation and try my best to relate it to baking. I'm making a focaccia today, which is a flat oven-baked Italian bread, so relax and enjoy. Synaptic activity is not really simple. Baking bread is you just need flour, yeast, salt, olive oil, and water. Long-term potentiation is the strengthening of synapses, and when we were learning about this, as an amateur bread baker, I was able to see similarities, specifically in the forming of gluten. Gluten is what makes our bread airy and chewy, and it's formed when two small proteins, glutenin and gliadin, are mixed with water through kneading. I wanted kneading to represent our presynaptic stimulation. Let's say kneading is usually set to a speed of 3, and we turn the KitchenAid up to speed 10 for a few minutes. We can visually see that the dough is bigger and at unrest from the strong elastic gluten that's formed. The speed 10 kneading is our tetanus, and even after the stimulation, the dough is going to stay above our baseline appearance. It's going to take a few minutes to unravel around the dough hook and deflate and rest. Okay, back to baking. Here I'm pouring it into a bowl because we're going to let it rise for about 2 hours. Focaccia is generally a really wet dough, kind of batter-like among other breads. You want to let it rise in a warm spot, but I made this on a Tuesday of the winter storm, so it was pretty cold in my apartment. And I put a pretty generous amount of olive oil because that's where the main flavor is coming from in this bread. While the bread rises, let's take a quick break and learn about AMPA and NMDA receptors. Growing up, my strict Japanese mother and grandmother never let me play with my food, so this is quite exciting. I decided to explain this through food and stop motion. So I used a chocolate chip for our sodium ion. The grapes are going to be calcium ions. On the left, there's the AMPA receptor. It's just a strawberry cut in half. And on the right, there's the NMDA receptor with the magnesium ion inside. That's just the top of the strawberry cut up. And then I used our focaccia for our cell membrane. A low frequency action potential is going to cause glutamate to be released, and in this example it's the strawberry leaves. They're going to bind to the receptors, and as you can see, the AMPA receptor lets sodium ions pass through the channel. Glutamate is also going to bind to the NMDA receptors, but as you can see, the magnesium ion blocks the channel so nothing can get through. In a high frequency example, glutamate is going to bind to both receptors. The AMPA receptor will allow sodium to rush through the postsynaptic membrane. The magnesium ion is going to no longer be lodged in the NMDA receptor, allowing calcium to enter the cell. Now that the dough is done rising, we can pour it into a pan, spread it out, and then put all of the toppings you desire on it. I luckily had some fresh basil and tomatoes on hand. We're finally going to bake it at 450 for around 20 minutes, and then you have a beautiful focaccia. Thank you so much for watching this. I really enjoyed having someone to bake with and talk about neuroscience with as well. Have a good day.